Anohana is one of my all-time favorite anime series, and it's one of the first anime I watched in this type of genre, this very sad, kind of teen melodrama genre. And it's the anime that really kind of opened my eyes and wanted me to give other types of shows a shot that I normally wouldn't have watched when it came to other mediums before I got into anime. And Anohana is a very, very emotional series for me. Even if I don't cry upon the viewing that I'm watching it, it still tears me apart. But as of the recording of this review and the rewatch I did for it, it made me bawl my eyes out again. It's a very powerful series that makes some people cry, makes some people just tear up, or maybe just makes them feel something, but it's a series that generally is regarded as a pretty powerful anime series. So let's jump right into my review for Anohana, the flower we saw that day. So my name is Brandon as always, and let's get started. Let me begin by saying this review will not be spoiler-free. I just can't break down the series properly while trying to be vague, so consider yourself warned this review is made for those who have already seen Anohana. Now, what makes you cry? This is a question that will get a different answer out of most people, but for me, fiction isn't usually the answer. When watching something like an anime, I just can't connect myself to the point that I feel what the characters are feeling, so much so that I can shed tears from a character's death to a heartbreaking goodbye. I easily can in my own day-to-day life, but something animated I just can't, except in one rare case, that case being Anohana, the flower we saw that day. Every anime fan loves to tell the other what makes an anime the saddest out of every anime out there, but for me this series definitely is the saddest, and it's easy to answer why. Anohana tells you exactly what will happen within the first episode. You know that this ghost Menma that came back to haunt Jintan will pass on by the end, and it will be sad. You know by episode 11 she won't stay with our main character, and she will have to pass on. It's clear as day, there's no way to let a ghost stay on Earth when it's clear that she needs to pass on. And it becomes even clearer as the episodes go on and you see that all the main characters in this show need to come to terms with her death and move on, as does Menma. And the series uses this to its advantage. You know the ending from the very first episode, so you're never thinking what will the ending be, but rather instead your entire focus is always on the cast and scenes at hand. You're never waiting for a twist, you're waiting to see what will this dead friend do to a broken cast of characters, all of which who blame themselves for a horrible accident that took an innocent girl from the world far too early. The entire cast of Anohana is simply brilliant. I love each and every one of them because not one feels like a character, but rather a person. The main character Jintan is a powerful representation of regret, someone who ran away from confessing his love to the girl he liked to then receiving the heartbreaking news that she had died. Knowing that he can never tell her his true feelings torments him so much, even more so when his mother as well had recently passed away. This destroys his ability to live day to day. He slowly stops going to school and becomes a shut-in. But what I love about his character is you never feel like he should get over it. The pacing and structure of the series is so remarkable that it slowly reveals more and more information about his character and really all the characters' past, so when it could grow stale, when you could feel like he's just being a dumb kid, you always learn more about him to the point you never feel the need to hate his character, but feel sad for how messed up his life truly has been. His father as well is a really exceptional character that never seems to get enough respect, a supporting character who never just seems to get mad at his son, never punishing him for missing days of school on end, getting a job instead of focusing on his studies, because in his own loving way he knows his son needs time to heal and believes he will overcome this burden that's holding him back. And by the end you see his wish fulfilled when he truly reunites with his lost group of friends. Honor is my second favorite character in Anohana. When you first see her, you believe she's just going to be this pretty but snobby popular girl, but how the anime uses this perception we the viewers have early on to its advantage at showing this is just a mask, hiding away her own self-doubt, and that ugliness she feels deep down, also relating to the death of Menma, is quite beautiful. The best relationship in the entire show to me is actually between her and Jintan. The way the two's relationship unfolds in 11 episodes is actually quite brilliant, starting off in a way that seemingly seems impossible for the two to coexist peacefully, to then slowly rekindling that friendship they once had. But where it shines is in the few scenes where Honor is being harassed by the school, scenes where the school thinks she is some back alley slut selling her body, to where Jintan sees how much pain she is dealing with and he'll make an outburst to make an embarrassment out of himself, so they'll stop focusing on her and rather focus on him. To how when they both are at the store that they work at, customers recognize her as just this slutty girl from school, to which we know she's not, but we know how the students in high school act when rumors go around, and he'll always make a scene to put the focus and torment on himself. It's quite romantic in its own way, and Honoru's smiles always say it all. A part of me thinks that eventually the two would end up together, as they do seem perfect for one another, but Jintan loves his dead crush Menma, and that takes time to heal from. But even though they never go past being friends. There's something very remarkable and sweet about them that always just left me smiling. There's 6 characters in the Super Peacebusters, this group that they made when they were kids. One is dead and only the main character can see her, and how they go from characters being outright angry that their old friend is mocking their lost loved one, saying that he can see her, to how they build onto a slow trust and wanting to give him comfort, even if they don't truly believe him and think he is mentally unstable but needs help, to how it shifts into them believing him is extremely well paced, and for only 11 episodes it's hard to imagine how they nailed it, but they did. Not one episode feels wasted or better than the other. The careful level of detail with all these characters, to even Menma's parents and how the two dealt with the death of their daughter, and how it plays into the wish that they need to grant Menma so that she can pass on, is gut-wrenching and magical. From characters like Popo, who seems to be this cheerful fellow, blames himself for not saving Menma in the past as he was there and saw the accident take place, to Yugatsu, who loved Menma, and the torment that he is going through knowing that only Jintan, their leader, can see her. Why must the girl that he loved die, let alone come back, but only to one person? That person he has always competed against. To how Suriko believes she can never have the man she loves as he will always love Menma, and even if he did get over her, Honoru is the logical choice, not her. They all have purpose and all characters you feel for within this series. But Menma is what makes this show work. She is a splendid character who leaves you smiling at every scene she is in, or sometimes makes your eyes tear up. She is a plot device that makes the show work and gives every character a purpose, but she feels like she is just as strong as a character as the rest. But even with 5 characters all blaming themselves in their own way for the death or something surrounding it, it never feels the same, and it's why each character feels human and not a fictional creation. For me to be able to get over that I'm watching an anime and believing that these are real people is a near impossible task. I can get sad, I can get happy or upset, but to have such a vulnerable emotion like crying my eyes out over something 2D, it just can't happen. But over 11 episodes you watch these characters at their best and their worst, happy and sad, and off and on I got these flow of emotion that starts at your chest and makes your way up to your head. The feeling where you know you want to cry because of how powerful that just was. But it's the ending that destroys me. Upon my last rewatch and many rewatches, I cried just as much as I did the first time. I knew that ending was coming since the first episode, but in 11 episodes I felt the same way I would about a loved one feeling destroyed about something happening to them. I felt that someone I was close with was witnessing something that needed to end in hopes that Menma could be reborn again. But the pain in all the characters' voices saying goodbye is the most powerful scene in any anime to me. Some may watch Anohana never crying, maybe even hating it, but for every anime I don't cry at, someone probably has. Every series will have a group that connects with it more than others, and Anohana is that series that I connect with so damn much. So much so that when I watch, I forget I'm even watching an anime, but rather I'm watching people I know and the pain that they are going through. I really don't have any major complaints with Anohana. I enjoy each and every one of these characters, from supporting to main ones, and the plot device that keeps them connected, and I feel like all the characters we focus on serve a part in their own unique way. Now when it comes to the overall sound design for Anohana, to put it simply, it's beautiful. Now as of the recording of this video, I don't believe the English dub has yet to be released for Anohana, but the English dub is gonna have its fair share of issues or just obstacles that it's gonna have to overcome, and the main issue is with Menma herself. Within the Japanese audio, Menma has a voice that I found English can't get right. It's this type of character who's very sweet, very innocent, and it seems to be a voice that really only Japanese people can do very well. Not to say English people are, incapable of doing so, but Menma's soft-spoken and innocent voice is what makes her character flourish as well as it does, and I'm very, very skeptical that if an English dub could do Menma as well as the Japanese did. But even if it fails, the Japanese voice acting is fantastic. All of the characters have distinct voices that I feel like match the script that was wrote for them very well. Jintan, as well as Menma, as well as all of these characters, they feel so damn perfect for their voices. Some go above and beyond, some just kind of feel natural and not trying to go really that extraordinary, but they all feel like they chose the perfect actress for the job they're in. But what really helps is the overall backing tracks. I am a sucker for piano. If there's a piano track in your OST, I'm probably going to like it, and Anohana has quite a few of those that really heighten the atmosphere. If it's trying to make you tear up, if it's trying to make you happy, there is a track for everything. It's not to say it's just piano tracks, there is some very nice melodies with vocals as well on top of it, but the piano tracks are the ones that stuck out to me the most. But the overall atmosphere that is built with the sound department, from the voice actors to the amazing composition of the individual tracks that they back these scenes in, is simply remarkable. When it comes to the individual sound effects, there isn't really a whole lot that is needed, as a lot of times it is just characters walking around going to a different place to talk, to interact, and of course you'll hear some sound effects as you naturally would, but it's not one of those series that you feel like you're missing if you don't have some amazing sound effects backing every little movement. Instead, the OST and the voice acting is what takes hold and makes you feel something, and that's perfectly acceptable. Maybe the English dub will be amazing. I think there is no reason why all the other characters couldn't be perfect, but Menma in English is something I'm very skeptical of. But maybe they'll fool me and they'll do something amazing, but no matter what, the Japanese, the subtitled version, is spectacular, so no matter what, there's always going to be a great viewing experience for Anohana. I feel like when I originally watched Anohana, I didn't appreciate the designs as much as I should have. The character models especially are really quite fascinating. Not one really feels overly remarkable or extraordinary, but there is this level of polish and uniqueness for them within this series that I quite respect. If we look at Menma herself, she immediately sticks out like a sore thumb, but in a good way. A bright white dress, cute face, and well-designed look overall. She is always what pops out the most in every scene that she is in, which is what needs to happen. She's what drives the show. But if you look at Jintan to Popo to even Yukiatsu, they all look completely different, yet not extraordinary, which helps them all feel human and not like a character. I find that in many shows you get the sense of there isn't a lot of variety, or it's to the point that you feel like the characters look nice, but you can tell that they're anime characters. But in the case of Anohana, it's this blend of anime and realism where I can forget I'm watching an anime and it feels human as the designs match the tone of the show, which is always trying to make the viewer connect with the scenes at hand, and the character designs help keep you hooked. As many anime that I feel like could make me sad, the designs have taken me out of the immersion, whereas Anohana has kept me there. Now, it's not to say that the character designs are always perfect, they do dip off and on, but it's never to the point that it stays ugly for long or ruins the powerful scene that you are witnessing. The background design is also quite beautiful. They really go all out by making the background shots quite beautiful to look at, but at the same time not so distracting that you'd rather look at the pretty backgrounds than the characters talking on screen. Rather, it makes the environments come to life so nothing feels dry or boring, but rather feel inhabited by people, and it really does help the immersion. Some scenes you'll remember more so than others, but it does feel like most shots were given the same level of polish as the rest, which I believe the 11 episode time frame helped give each episode more care than that of many 1 or 2 core anime series. While the animation itself may not be remarkable more times than not, the more basic approach that it went for I found worked in its favor, as never does it feel like it's trying to get an emotional reaction out of you from the amazing animation, but rather that was the voice actor's job. The animation and art design was meant to keep you there and not disgusted by what was on screen, while also making it feel human, and when it needed to get emotional reaction out of you, it definitely did it. I think when you look at the design of the series at a surface level, it's less impressive than it actually is. And though it doesn't stay perfect in every single shot, it does a damn fine job at doing its best and never really missing a major beat. Anohana is a series that always remains just as enjoyable as my first viewing many years ago. It may not hit you as hard as it did for me or others, but either way, what they're able to do with a fairly large cast of characters in only 11 episodes puts many 24+ episode series to shame. I proudly award Anohana my ultimate seal of approval. This is a must-watch for any anime fan, and hopefully it remains in people's hearts for many more years to come. Now for alternate anime recommendations, I'll first point you towards Clannad. The series never connected with me like it did for many others, but the two always get compared or recommended if you've seen the other, so go watch this and After Story and maybe cry some more. And lastly, Your Lie in April. Now, like Anohana, it's very clear early on how the anime will most likely end. Yet it manages to tell a very compelling story of a young man who ran away from music and slowly gets back into it with the help of a newfound friend. It's touching as can be, and I highly recommend it. But that's all for this review. Let me know your thoughts on Anohana down in the comments section below. And be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to help out the channel directly even more while also receiving perks like inside info on upcoming anime projects, or even early access on videos such as this one, then maybe also consider heading on over to my Patreon. So until next time everyone, please take care, and you all have a good one.